BioStar Services. Fire, flood, biohazard, or more, BioStar Restoration Service can quickly restore your home or business as good as new. BioStar is independently owned and operated with 24/7 emergency service and discounts to veterans. Call BioStar at 844-424-6782 or online at restorationbiostar.com. A Saginaw City Council member to stand trial, as will a former council candidate for allegedly forging signatures on a petition. Council member Monique Lamar Sylvia accused of fraudulently signing names of voters to a petition meant to secure a place on the ballot for former Saginaw City Council candidate Eric Eggleston. Longtime Genesee County Judge Eric Heyman being mourned. Heyman died last Friday after battling a lengthy illness. He had served on the bench for almost a quarter century. Archie Heyman was 68. Celebration of St. Patrick's Day in Shiawassee County being tarnished in downtown Vernon as fire destroyed that popular Sherman's Irish pub yesterday morning. There were no reports of any injuries, and the cause of that fire remains under investigation. A recall of some coffee creamer. The FDA pulling 75,000 bottles of International Delight creamer from store shelves after reports of illness and spoilage possibly affecting the hazelnut and Cinnabon Classic cinnamon roll flavors. March Madness field all set now. Michigan beating Wisconsin yesterday 59-53 to capture the Big Ten tournament title. The Wolverines will be a number 5 seed in the South region and play UC San Diego Thursday late night in Denver. That one to tip off at 10 p.m. or perhaps later. Michigan State, who won the regular season Big Ten crown, is the number 2 seed in the South region and will take on Bryant Friday night in a first-round matchup in Cleveland, and that also is going to be a late start, 10 p.m. Wings beat the Vegas Golden Knights yesterday afternoon at Little Caesars Arena, 3-0 the final, while down in Florida, the Tigers lost to the Orioles in the Grapefruit League 7-1, and Josh Berry won the NASCAR race in Vegas. And to cap this one off, tonight's Powerball drawings for a jackpot of $398 million. That's 5 things you should know from 103.9 The Fox. Abundant sunshine today as temperatures top off at around 46. Light winds out of the north-northwest. Skies expected to be partly cloudy with overnight lows around 37 tonight, and then it's more clouds for us tomorrow than today. But along with warmer temperatures, they should reach around 61. Clouds remain into Wednesday, perhaps some rain in the afternoon. We'll make it to about 66. Right now it's 27 in Flint, and in Saginaw, 24.
Classic Rock Authority.
103.9. You know, this is the season where we start taking off to points north or south or east or west. So take the favorite radio station you have here in Flint with you anywhere with our Fox mobile app presented by Hurley Medical Center. Download the latest update now at Google Play in the App Store or Classic Fox.
Well, okay, let's start Monday. It's St. Patrick's Day, as you probably know. Here in the United States it is anyway, so we're celebrating and everybody's wearing green, mostly, except me, except me. Welcome to our friends who aren't in the United States, like Rob Suka with the 5 things. He's got them. And we're just counting down the days. We continue to count down the days. Here we are. Thursday, 5 a.m. Eastern Time, 5:01 a.m. specifically Eastern Time. Spring will be here. And this past weekend, a nice preview of the spring season to come. We managed to clear 70 degrees Fahrenheit both Friday and Saturday. Won't be quite as warm here, but we're in that volatile time period where some days it's a spring day, some days it's a winter-like day, and that's kind of what we're looking at right now. They're crossing over the next few days. We have Chris here with his St. Patrick's Day wishes from New Mexico. Good morning, Chris. What's up? We have Ohio Kim here. Good morning, Ohio Kim. Also, Linda's here from the township. Good morning to Linda. Also, Dale is here, Arizona represented. Good morning to Dale, and also to Sheila up in Bay City, where they, I guess, has successfully had their 70th St. Patrick's Parade yesterday. And I guess you were part of that, weren't you? Or at least knee-deep in it. So I don't know, you guys are celebrating St. Patrick's Day. This is never a day for me to do anything different than any other day, but a lot of people enjoy it. A lot of people enjoy an extra drink or 10 on this kind of day. Some people take off of work on a day like this, particularly those who have Irish in their blood, pure and simple. And look at this. Sheila's participation in St. Patrick's weekend up in Bay City included a 5K run in 51 minutes. Outstanding. That's terrific. See, all those, I'm telling you what, all those health drinks that you've been drinking when you get to the Hal Ho Saloon on Thursdays have been working. See? Look at that. That works out really well. Congratulations. Johnny and Steph today will be joined by Melissa Hager. She'll be in probably in the next couple minutes. She usually shows up around 7-ish. But I don't know, on a day that celebrates like today does, sometimes Melissa likes to celebrate, although she's been kind of cutting back on that. I'm seeing a video right now of what goes on in Chicago where they pour this green dye into the river passing through downtown, and you've got this green water for a while. That's still a little bit intimidating to look at, to see that. We used to, in the old days when I was broadcasting hockey games, and they might still do that, in Kalamazoo, Michigan, which is in the central part of the state, they've had minor league teams in Kalamazoo for decades. And it's been kind of a tradition over there where if they play a game, and I got a chance to broadcast one game that was done under these conditions, where they would dye the ice green. The entire ice surface was green, which eliminated all of the lines. You couldn't see any of the center red line or the two blue lines on either side or the circles, face-off dots. All of that was kind of, it looked like a big golf course that they were skating on. It was weird looking. And then as the period would go on, they'd be carving with the skates, they'd be carving this ice up into snow and creating little white lines all around. So at the end of each period, these nice, pristine green look on the rink turned into just a mess of a little bit of green here, a lot of white there, a little of green here, a lot of white there. It's crazy. Really weird stuff. Man. And so we've got, you know what? A-Ray Max is here. I haven't seen him in quite a while. Good morning to A-Ray Max, who has been a long-time Hal Raiser and has been here every now and again when he hasn't been busy. So cool to see that. Good morning to A-Ray Max on this St. Patrick's morning. I want to give you a look at a couple of faces of St. Patrick's celebrants. They are Bella and Billy. This is your smile sources for today. They are official members, it says here, of the Shenanigans Squad. A couple of Beagles who live in St. Joseph, Missouri. Bella and Billy. St. Joseph, Missouri residents and St. Patrick's Day revelers. And they are your smile sources today. Yes, sir. Jacko is not going to wear costumes like that, but he is wearing proudly still, and you'd see that if you go to my Instagram stories page now, his new scarf that he was given when he went over Friday to get his bath and his nails cut. And that was an experience and a half. Anybody that saw any of the story that I posted on Saturday of that one, he took over the place. As soon as he got in there and they put him in his cage, he wouldn't shut up the whole rest of the time. Tina's here. Good morning, New Jersey. Okay, A-Ray Max is working as a security officer now. Beautiful. All right. So you're working all the time. Jeez. But he gets into this place and immediately starts going off on every other dog that's in the groomer's facility. And so I figure it's going to take at least an hour before I hear back from him. I leave him behind, and as I'm getting ready to leave, I'm seeing him doing his tippy-toe thing while he's really trying to amp it up and get the adrenaline flowing as he's ripping, because they're all barking back at him too. It's 1 against 20 in this room, or more might have been. But Jacko thinks he can take all of them. So he's in there, and it takes less than 35 minutes for them to call me back and say he's ready to go. And I said to him, it was shocking to me that it was that early. So I said to him, you can't wait to get rid of him, can you? And she kind of laughed at it, but and then I go back to pick him up, and You know how some people, when they come to you, particularly when you're in customer service, and they smile at you and they say, "Oh, this has been great. Thank you very much," kind of thing. She comes out with him, and she's got this smile on her face and saying thank you, but that was the most stressed-looking smile I'd ever seen. And when I had come in there, I didn't realize it at the time when I walk in to pick him up until I see her walking over to his cage, which is a different one than I put him in. That what he was put in. I didn't put him in it, but they put him in after they took him from me. And they go over to the cage that they put him in, and it's got a rug over it. It's got a carpet, like a covering, a blanket over it. So it's like he evidently didn't shut up the whole time he was there. He was going after. They finally just put him in a position where he couldn't see all the rest of them to bark at him, or for him to bark back at them. And okay, they didn't even go to that extreme the last couple, because this is the third time I think he's been there for that, maybe fourth. But they've never done that before. They have never done that before, where they actually cover him up in his cage so that he can't see all the rest of them to go after them, or them to go after him. So I can see the next time that an appointment is made for him. And that'll be a while, because it takes a while. The only reason why he goes is to get his nails cut. The bath we could probably get done here, but because it's that nail cutting thing is you got to know how to do that, particularly with him, because he's not going to sit still for you. Boy, I can just imagine what it's going to be like calling back over there again to set an appointment with him. Oh, you want to bring Jacko? Oh, great, sure, thank you. That'll be the way it goes. You know, Sheila, you know what he does with a lick pad? I tried a new one. He got a couple new ones coming up in a minute here.
Sun there, Soundgarden at 710 here in the Foxhole. Melissa Hager is in the house, and she brought the whole gang.
Hey, good morning. You know what's funny is I said, oh my gosh, I told Johnny an embarrassing fart story, and he wants to talk about it on the radio tomorrow. And they're like, can we go with you to the radio? So my sons are here.
Yes, that was a very interesting story you started to tell yesterday. Explain this now so people know what we're talking about.
Well, I had a really cool show this weekend. I got to be at a big theater, 500 seats. It was really neat.
Huge. It was an opera house.
Yes.
An old-style opera house.
Second oldest in the whole state of Michigan.
It's a beautiful place,
Yes.
and it had a balcony level as well as the floor level, and so you were like in the big time.
Yes, and so you know your nerves are kind of riled up all day. I didn't eat much, and they had backstage was like each of us had our own green room, and then there was free snacks. I love free.
Ooh, I love free snacks.
Free snacks. So I waited until I was all done. I had these tight Spanx on, of course, to smooth everything out, and I had a little sausage thing afterwards, and then it just like right away everything started moving, and I was like, oh. And then when the headliner when he was done, I wanted to be at the front of the house to say goodbye to everybody.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, he's got to be done soon. I'm gonna cut out this back door, walk all the way around into the front. Well, the other comedian was back there, and I told him I was gonna leave, which really I needed to step outside real bad to release the valve, if you know what I mean. And then so he turned around to walk away from me, so I thought he was leaving. And so I walked outside, and as soon as the door shut behind me, I let it rip.
Right.
And then I turned around, and he was standing right there. He had cigarettes in his hands, and he goes, well, I assumed we would smoke together. And if I could have dug a hole to China and disappeared. It was loud, too. I was so embarrassed. Would you stop it? My face was so red, and he's laughing, and I was like, dude. And he goes, I think you just got cooler. I was like, I was so embarrassed.
Now, we should point out that both Melissa and I had to be judges yesterday.
Yeah, I know. And on top of that,
Yeah,
you're at a chili cook-off.
And
you.
we
Yes.
we ate 15 different chilies yesterday.
Yeah.
So I brought a judging slip from the chili cook-off, and this is what we'll score the room atmosphere on the same principles.
The air quality.
On 1 to 5 on aroma, ingredients, taste,
Oh, God.
appearance,
Oh, my goodness.
you know, the green fog,
Yeah.
and texture. So that was texture was probably the feature of Melissa's area.
Probably.
Wind that got broken.
Oh,
Isn't there a Shakespeare thing? There is a
Okay,
Shakespeare thing about breaking
oh,
away.
listen, any of our listeners out there, any girls that have ever wore Spanx, like mine are like to my knees, all the way up, Like, you know, when they're really tight, when you let those go, like, you don't know where it's gonna go.
No, it's like a sausage coming out of
Yeah,
your face.
like, you don't know if it's going up or down. Like, is it gonna go out the right leg, the left leg? So I had to get outside because I didn't know what was gonna happen. Yeah, and then it just barreled right out of there, and then there he was. I probably parted his hair, poor guy. Gosh. He was like, wow, that was like a man fart. I was like, it's because everything's so tight. It's, you know, they make more noise when there's less
Of
space.
course they do.
You
It was
squeeze
so
your cheeks
embarrassing.
together.
I hate to say this, but that poor, very funny comedian will probably never get hired by the comedy series because I cannot look him in the face.
Well, you know, you've got your two wrestlers here in the house, Declan and Weston, and that is something that happens in wrestling matches all the time.
I have heard those stories.
Yes, it happens. Has it happened to you guys yet, where somebody let one loose when you were wrestling them? Don't look at me like that. It was you that did it, wasn't it? Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it happens.
It does.
And there's that whole thing where you're supposed to grip them in a certain way, and when you do, sometimes that causes them to let it fly.
Well, here, I've seen the positions they get these kids in for wrestling,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow, I took my Aunt Mary to yoga one time, and I know what she let loose, and I can't even imagine how these kids hold it in.
But they do. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
In a wrestling match. And
Yeah.
sometimes they can be to your advantage if it's bad enough.
Oh.
All of a sudden you
Well,
shock
they
the
said
other.
there's a trick too that you don't wear deodorant, you don't take a
Yes.
shower that morning. I'm
Exactly,
like, oh
yeah.
my gosh, that's horrible.
The other wrestlers are like, no.
Yeah, I'm not
Hey,
sticking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta watch out for that thumb too.
Wow, what a enlightening morning we're all
All
having.
of this and a paycheck, too.
I know.
I am the luckiest of lucky girls.
103.9 The Fox. Hello out there.
Good morning.
Morning.
Melissa needs to score her fart, like I do.
You score them?
Guys always do it. Hey, that's a 10, dude. The worst place to try to fart is on the old Burger King flat plastic booth.
Oh,
There's no way you could do it quiet there.
the old plastic
And my
booth.
kids
Oh,
learned that.
yeah.
Yeah.
They had a Halo Burger place like that downtown Flint. The Halo Burger
Yeah, they
had those
did.
too.
They did.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Melissa, you're not alone.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Look at how great this is. Even emotional support farters are calling in. That's so
I know.
wonderful. That's amazing.
I'm telling you, man. Well, it's normal
I feel-
human.
You know, and here you made fun of me yesterday, and she's like, "Aw, it's okay."
She sympathizes
Yes,
with your Spanx
it's
story.
okay. Yeah.
All right. Hey, and changing subject here a little bit. Apparently, over the weekend, it came out that Michigan has $37 million in unclaimed tax refunds, and they're expiring soon, according to the IRS. These are 2021 tax year refunds. The IRS says they've got an estimated $1 billion of those nationwide, but we've got 37 million here in the state of Michigan alone. It's more than 37.3 million actually, and their 2021 refunds. 40,300 Michiganders are due a refund. The median refund is $854. So you got to go on the IRS site and see if you're one of those people that needs to get that money back. But there's a whole bunch of money waiting out there for a whole bunch of people right now. So
This time of year, what a way for them to put out a public service announcement like that actually exists. Like, no, look at, we're not the bad guys.
Yeah,
We got all kinds of money. Just we want to just give away.
we know you're cursing us every day, but hey, here's some extra money if you want it.
Yeah.
All right, I like that. I think that's a good theory. All right, it's 17 past. Foxhole Morning Show. Johnny Burke and Steph on the way. All right, more to come with Melissa and her family here this morning on the Foxhole Morning Show.
I thought the F word was going to be hard for a minute.
That's right. And of course, Steph has Steph's Fox Flashback coming up. Your chance to win here on 103.9 The Fox. That's all still to come. Stand by. Saturday, July 26th. Rock and Roll Hall of Famers.
Yeah. Okay. Traffic coming up here in a minute. She's got Melissa has two sons that I guess are in the studio with them this morning. They've both gotten done with pretty successful wrestling appearances for their schools. She was mentioning, I think it was last week when she was in, and Johnny was as well. She's got one of her sons is 280. Wrestles in the 280 class. He's 12. He's 12. All right, everybody's getting ready for breakfast here. Corned beef and cabbage for breakfast, I suppose, for you guys, most of you, huh? Chris loves those Reubens.
Unlock big savings and add style and security to your home with Schlag door locks from Menards. Whether you're looking for a traditional interior lock or a Wi-Fi compatible electronic lock, Menards has you covered with more than 200 options of Schlag door locks in stock. Save big on all door locks, and don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now. Save big money at Menards.
Gross Mower Sales in New Lothrop is your local Skag Power equipment dealer.
27 degrees Fahrenheit right now, and if you have not done so yet, please like and subscribe if you're here on YouTube, because most of you are. We're on a simul stream. Facebook and Twitch are also. And by the way, Twitch is represented again. We managed to fix that problem that came up last Friday that prevented us from being on Twitch. We're back again there. But everybody seems to be camping out on YouTube, at least this morning they are anyway.
810-638-5146 or online at grossmowersales.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious blueberries, money saved. A creamy treat of cookie dough ice cream, that's money saved.
Yeah.
Savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also 10 points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
Traffic. 3.9 The Fox.
A couple of earlier Surface Street problems have been cleared up, and the traffic cams are showing absolutely nothing amiss on any of the freeways. 75, 475, 69, 23 moving along, crash-free and delay-free. Same thing up north in 675 in US 10 territory. Throughout the day, if you're needing Vehicle City traffic info, you'll find it at classicfox.com/traffic. If you spot a crash, let us know at 810-230-WRSR, 810-230-9777 to be a traffic tipster right here on 103.9 The Fox.
We had a suggestion from somebody to play this one in honor of Chicago dyeing their river green every St. Patrick's Day, including today. Green River for you St. Patty's Day folks on 103.9 The Fox.
What we were just speaking about, they do that thing in the Chicago River where they dye it green. I don't think it harms the water at all, but it's still kind of intimidating to look at, even if you see that. We had a situation develop that almost sounded scary in Virginia the other day, where the zoo had to respond to rumors of an escaped gorilla in Norfolk. And they did so by confirming that not only were all of its animals accounted for, but the zoo doesn't even have gorillas. You know how social media is. You get on Facebook or you get on Twitter or you get on one of these others. There's tons of rumors about things that you really, really, really have to check. Just because it's on social media doesn't make it true by any stretch. So you always have to check deep into it. And that's what happened in this situation here. It just absolutely lit up with reports of gorillas being on the loose following this power outage last Tuesday. Several Facebook users had claimed to have seen a large gorilla. So the zoo people joked that the sightings were likely the facility's mascot, Zoo Squatch. They posted on Facebook, "We heard talk of an escaped gorilla, but we think it may have just been Zoo Squatch spotted on his daily run. But don't worry, he's made it back to the zoo. Our keepers want you to know that all of our animals are safe and accounted for, except for gorillas, because we don't have those," it said on Facebook. Telling you. Had an opportunity also. Tina read a paper in email called 1440. It's real news. 1440. Real news. Local news or national news, combination of what?
The Fox.
Got a rare treat Saturday. Had a chance to go to a local establishment here. It's called Mega Diner, which is in the Flint area. Went there for dinner and had one of their, I guess they call it the Mega Bacon Cheeseburger, which was a double patty, and that thing stacked up pretty high. And on the menu, they also have, and I remember us doing a story about this when it first was introduced, but this was my first chance to be reminded about the fact that they have this thing called the Monster Burger at this diner, which is one of those 50s diners. In fact, it was so 50s that I saw an Elvis poster on the wall, but every single bit of music that I was hearing while we were in there had nothing to do with rock and roll. It was all the old standards. Joe Stafford, Rosemary Clooney. I think we had the Lennon sisters in there at one point. There was all kinds of these standard songs. But we're eating this bacon cheeseburger, which is, again, 2 patties. And I look on the menu for this one, what's called the Monster Burger that they have. The thing costs $38 and change. $38 and change for this burger. So, just to kind of confirm what I think I'd remembered us talking about once before when this was first introduced, when the server came over, I asked her about what the story was behind this Monster Burger, and she says to me, she says, it's basically what you just had, except instead of 2 patties, it's 10. So that thing, goes halfway up to the sky, right? And I says, has anybody even attempted to do that, to eat the whole thing? She says, nobody's ever eaten it by themselves. They take it, basically order it, and then they share it amongst their friends. But she says, to my knowledge, nobody has ever actually eaten it alone, one person being able to eat this whole thing. 10 patties, basically a 10-fold cheeseburger thing. And bacon cheeseburger at that. And I says, is there some kind of a prize that you get if you win this? Is there some kind of a prize or some kind of a reward that you get if you manage to successfully take this whole thing? She says you get one of these T-shirts. She was wearing one of these Mega Diner T-shirts at the time, a red one, with the white lettering on it. It's a snazzy-looking T-shirt, but still. So she says you're basically paying $40 for a $10 T-shirt. Yet people do it. Had egg. No, this didn't have egg on it. No, we don't have any egg on it. We're not going to do that. They must bring their own roll. Man, we got Boss Lady Penguin here. Morning, Alabama. Welcome. Back to Johnny and Steph and Melissa and family.
Hey, this is Bill. I love the Fox.
Or maybe not.
Every day, all day.
The Fox.
Yeah, that's good though. I mean, it really is a filling sandwich, but it's good. But I would never attempt 10 patties. That was a little bit out there. Reminds me of this other place that we have in this area. Some people who are from this area will remember and know Tony's Restaurant. There are 2 of them around here that I don't think there are more than 2. I think it's just 2. Birch Run and Saginaw have them. And those are restaurants that absolutely give you your money's worth and then some. They say it's what do they say? It's like when they give you bacon, it's usually like a half a pound. It's more like a pound. It's more like a pound of bacon, more than a pound of bacon. It's crazy. You really have to go in with a heart monitor when you go there. It's awesome, but it's also a challenge to a health diet for sure. Rob Suka wants to go outside. It's actually cold out. It's actually below freezing. So, no, I don't think we're going to do. And plus, it's still dark enough where you don't see anything. Now, tomorrow's going to be nice. Tomorrow's going to be 61 Fahrenheit. Wednesday is going to be 66, although it's going to probably rain Wednesday. We're not going to see much of these mild temperatures, even though spring gets here officially 5:01 a.m. Eastern on Thursday to wrap up our countdown. It's not going to be real springish until probably we get into next week or beyond. In terms of consistently warmer weather. We had last week was great. Friday and Saturday was awesome. We had low to mid 70s both days. Saturday was just yucky. It rained all day long. In fact, Jacko was just really irritated by the fact that he couldn't get outside for more than 10 seconds because it was pouring on him half the time. But Friday was just terrific. There weren't any clouds. It was 72, 73 degrees. I did the thing I said I was going to do. Put him outside, sat out there with him in the back, and let him go play, find the treats in the yard. And he spent a lot of time trying to do it. There are like a half a dozen treats out there. And even after he got done finding all of them, he still waited. He worked through for another 10 minutes, 20 minutes trying to find them. Now, I see the Tim Fan is here, high on the roof with his yo-yo. Good morning, Tim Fan. Welcome. If you were working last Friday, you were in your glory. If you were up on the roof then, high on the roof, because it was under a blue sky and 70-some degrees. Woo.
You'll see Declan Hager's beautiful trophy for third place in the state open division in the state wrestling. Congratulations to Declan on that. We've got Melissa Hager in the house here today, of course, and of course she is
Good morning.
the proud parent of these two here.
Well, let's keep our phrasing. We have our days. Oh, you stop it. She is your biggest fan, you guys.
And I noticed that Weston has your hair color too.
Yeah, I know, and it used to be red, right?
It's this crazy color.
It did used to be red.
Yeah, it looks good, man.
I like
Looks
it.
good. It looks very purple right now, but it looks good.
He's colorblind.
We have Joe, who has the same hair color as me, in the studio with us too. Joe from the Anything for a Buck sales staff. Here on the Fox, we dyed our hair special.
Fitzy now here, and he's in on Twitch, for those who don't see his comments, but Fitzy's here.
Always here to talk about foxbigdeals.com and what's going on.
So while they're talking with Joe from our Anything from the Buck sales department, we'll talk with those who are here all over the place, mostly on YouTube. But like and subscribe if you haven't yet done so here on YouTube, because we want to grow the group as best as we can. But as most of you are on YouTube, we'll talk about the fact that the suggestion was made about having Jacko spend more time with a lick pad. Just got a couple of new ones ordered late last week to give him, because I wanted to he had destroyed one. And I think some of you might have seen it. I posted it. This circular one, it kind of looks like a plastic phonograph record that he had taken about 2 weeks, basically 2 weeks, to destroy. Because not only would he go after and then take the substance that was placed on it, spread on it, but then he wasn't satisfied with that. He thought he could get more, so he would use his claws to rip that little plastic, well, it was really the rubber from a plastic bowl base. It was a rubber circular phonograph record, if you want to call it that, but that was what you used and where you put all of the peanut butter or the yogurt or whatever you spread in there for him to try to get. And I would take that and put that in there as we were driving up Birch Run. He'd be in the back seat. That'd be his job, to try to get cleaned that up. But he cleaned it up early enough where he wanted to spend more time trying to find more peanut butter, so he'd rip the little rubber circular disc out of that plastic bowl base with his claws. And eventually it got to the point where it wasn't even smooth. It was just all kinds of bent up and chewed up and torn up, so I had to throw it away. So order a couple of little more flat and plain looking lick pads, set of them, that have 4 quadrants on the surface. It's a small square lick pad, and there are 4 quadrants, and each has different surface textures for you to put but it's the same basic thing. You have to put the peanut butter inside all of these little indentures into the lick pad, and he has to get them out as quickly as he can, and that is what he's been taking as a challenge. And he not only took all of the peanut butter out, but then he ended up doing the same kind of damage he did, and it took him 2 days rather than 2 weeks. He destroyed both of the lick pads. Not only he tears them out, now he doesn't eat them, but what he does is he'll rip with his teeth a chunk of the lick pad out if it's still got peanut butter on it, and then he'll kind of lick the peanut butter off and toss away the plastic. I'm thankful about the fact that he understands the difference between food and not food. So he gets rid of the chunk that he has now ripped off of the lick pad, but he has completely cleaned it up of any of the peanut butter or whatever that might be put on it. So it took 2 days for that to happen. So the whole lick pad thing, he loves it, but too enthusiastically, because he won't stop with just licking the pad. All right, I hear Roy's voice on there doing some commercials, so we're getting ready to do some traffic. Before we do anything else, I got to see what we have going here. One thing going basically here. And we'll wait until the silence ends before we get deeper into that. There it is. There it is. Okay, Tim Fan is emailing the job he's doing, which is in a bathroom. Okay, I'm going to have to check that out. Did you just send that? Because I haven't seen anything lately.
That's what sets Hampton Manor apart. They have chef-prepared meals, a movie theater with theater-style seating, and so much more. Meet the admissions.
Okay, Dale is feeling the effects, apparently, of a walk with his sister. How far did you go, Dale? If you're going around the track, how far was that?
$50 instant game, $6 million wealth. Reason 1, top instant prizes of $6 million. Reason 2, you can stop right there. I don't need any more reasons.
Were you doing that bathroom thing, Tim Fan, while it was 70-some degrees and gorgeous outside last week, or is that something you're doing inside now?
You can win up to 50 times. Tickets, please. So play new.
Because today it's not going to be as bad a thing if you're not outside. It's, it's one of those typical late winter days. It's not going to be super uncomfortable, but it's not going to be real comfortable either.
And appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings. Plus over $600 in digital coupons each week. And up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
If you're an
Did it this weekend after work.
or someone in your family has a disability, you should sign up for a MyAble savings account. When you save your money with MyAble,
Because this weekend was, most of it was less than comfortable after that beautiful Friday.
can pay for a wide range of expenses related
At least it was over here. In fact, I found out that on the west side of the state, they got a couple of inches of snow yesterday. So we were lucky in this area. What we had, even though it was rainy, it was still warmish and wasn't even close to snowing. Looking at one problem showing up in Argentine Township, word of a crash along the 7300 block of Laring Road. That's it right now. The freeways are moving along crash-free and delay-free, and throughout the day, if you need Vehicle City traffic updates, look for them at ClassicFox.com/traffic. You spot a crash or unusual slowdown, we invite you to call us. 810-230-WRSR, the number. That is 810-230-9777 to be a traffic tipster on 103.9 The Fox.
Covered many of their classics for an album released in 1985, and Iron Maiden did a really great metal cover of this song that was used as the B-side of their 1983 single, The Trooper. Let's get into it from their 1971 album, Aqualung. Here is Jethro Tull with Cross-Eyed Mary on 103.9 The Fox.
Had that album. Had the LP. Aqualung. Boss lady dares anyone to try and punch her, or pinch her, didn't say punch, pinch her for not wearing green. Got done also with a brand new, it's going to be coming out soon, brand new audiobook. I think the written version is out, but we just got done recording a new audiobook for a new author. And it was pretty enlightening in a number of ways. It's called Stop Being a Narcissist. Stop Being a Narcissist. It's going to be coming out on Audible here pretty soon. I think in the next, I don't know, couple of weeks maybe. There was a lot of there's a lot of interesting stuff in that. Okay, Rapsuka's getting some buffering going on here. Boss Lady's in a mood here after a stressful weekend. Afraid she's going to be wearing those pretty silver bracelets that the law enforcement officers have. Aw. You think it's going to come to that? You think it's going to come to that? Whoop. All right, let's see here. Rapsuka is saying check the email. Let's see. All right, you must mean this one because I've got 4 of them. They have been getting very little attention over the last couple days because I've been involved with a lot of stuff lately. Okay, let's see here. I got a couple of work things I got to deal with too. So there's that. We'll get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. Boy, it's been a long time since I've heard this song. I completely forgot that was there on that album, Aqualung. Let's see. I'll put those up also. This is why I don't like looking at that. There's a ton of stuff comes in. It's all work-related stuff for these other projects I got to do. All right, so I'll move that up. Move that up to there.
Classic rock. 103.9 The Fox. Jeff Rotal.
Yeah.
Cross-Eyed Mary from their 1971 album Aqualung. I was thinking over the weekend that I just had not heard some Jethro Tull in quite a while, and there you go.
When you do, there's like 2 songs that people radio stations play anymore.
I know.
This is not one of them.
I
It
know.
should be.
It should be.
That's one of my favorites right there.
Yeah, I think most people go-to would be Aqualung.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah,
right.
yep.
Yeah.
Well, when others zig, we zag. So there you go. That's what the flashback is all about. Don't forget, this is a request-driven feature, so that there's something that I can play for you. We did, 3 or 4 birthdays last week, I think.
Yeah.
Love to do that. Steph at ClassicBox.com.
See Lorianne joining us, our biker chicks on Facebook this morning now.
For jesters. We've got tickets, pairs of tickets to see Alice Cooper at the Dow Event Center on May 10th. What a show that will be. And we've got one last pair of tickets to see Ted Nugent celebrating the 50th anniversary of Stranglehold. He will be at the Michigan Lottery Amphitheater on August 31st. That's what you're playing for. The phone number 810-230-9777. In what year did Jethro Tull win the first ever Grammy for Best Hard Rock Metal Performance for Crest of a Knave?
Wow. Not positive, but I'm going to...
Gonna take a guess?
Yeah, in my head. I don't want to say it.
Sure.
But yeah, I think I know.
All right.
All right, let's go to the phones.
Good morning, the Fox. In what year did Jethro Tull win that Grammy?
78.
It was not 78. No, too low.
All right.
All right. Good morning, the Fox. Do you have an answer for us?
1976.
Nope. Too low.
Oh, too low.
Good morning, the Fox. Do you have an answer for us?
Nope.
right, there you go.
Everybody's guessing. I'm guessing too. 1982.
No, better, but still too low.
Sorry.
Okay. Good morning, the Fox. In what year did Jethro Tull win that Grammy?
1987.
Oh, so close, but not quite. Good. Voting the Fox. Do you have an answer for us?
1989.
Yes, it was. Yes. It was quite the upset. So Metallica was in that category as well. And the Jethro Tull fans screamed because Jethro Tull, they didn't think that he was like a hard metal rock performer.
He was just he was an artistic performer. Is
Yeah,
what he was.
yeah,
That's
so
a better way to put it. But
They didn't like Jethro Tull being in that category at all.
right.
And then the Metallica fans were upset because they were nominated, and that Grammy did go to Jethro Tull, so it was quite the upset.
all right.
Good.
I remember.
Yeah, oh, it was a big deal. Who's on our phone this morning?
This is Papa Bear.
Papa Bear, how are you?
I'm great.
All right, Papa Bear. Did you hear your choices and prizes here this morning?
I'll take the Alice Cooper ticket.
All right, we'll put your name on those Alice Cooper tickets. You hang on tight. We'll get some info off the air. But who just hooked you up with those tickets to see Alice Cooper?
The Fox 103.9.
Perfect.
Okay, okay, I found this, going through this, and I got a sea of emails that I have to go through still, because as I say, because of the business of the weekend, I did not get a chance to do a heck of a lot of email searching for stuff and keeping up with it, so I got a whole bunch I've got to still go through. But I did find this one, which I guess is Tim Fan's bathroom project. Let me see if I can show this to you guys. See if we do it this way here. What happened to the great weather we just had, said Lorianne. Well, we're in that, the volatile thing that happens when we have winter changing to spring. We're going to have the crossover effect where some days it's going to feel like winter, others days will feel like spring, and that's kind of what we got going today for much of this week. Spring is here Thursday morning at 5:01 a.m. Eastern Time, and we've got a couple 60-degree days coming up here. Not today, but tomorrow and Wednesday we do. And then it goes back into the 40s and 50s, and we won't be getting into like the 70s stuff. That was a little bit of a tasty preview of what we're going to see when spring arrives and takes hold in the coming weeks, but that's only the early preview. Now we're still going to deal with this kind of in-between stuff for a few days. So it's right on schedule, and in fact, who was it I think it was our woodchuck friend in Howell, Michigan, over in Livingston County, that calls for the early spring in terms of, weather conditions, not what Punxsutawney Phil said, which is going to be 6 more weeks of winter. In other words, we weren't going to get early spring. And this time he misfired on that prediction because we got easily very springish weather for a couple days earlier. Now, here's this bathroom project that we have credited to our friend Tim Fan, who's been high on the roof usually, but these days he's hanging out in a bathroom doing this. Let's see what we're going to do here. There we go. Okay. All right. We're going to slide down because this is a big picture and it kind of takes up a lot of space. And he's had a lot of time that he's been playing around with this bathroom. Those, that looks like on the wall, Tim Fan, it looks like little volume control knobs. Because they got little white lines on them that suggest, okay, this is the level you want to set this volume at. I've got the same kind of thing on my mixer here. That's what it looks like on that wall. It's kind of cool. There's not a lot of color really to it other than I think, Tim Fan can probably give you a better idea of if there's much in the way of color on this thing, because it really doesn't look like there's that much of it. There you go. That's a lot of work Tim Fan's putting in, particularly if he's doing it by himself.
Let's go
particularly if he's doing it by himself. Back to Johnny and Steph and Melissa.
Good, thank you, Ron. We've also got Melissa Hager in the house here. Where is you?
Where is you?
Where is you this week?
You is I is here. I am gonna be. Where are we going? Oh, I'm at Fenton. So I'm gonna be with Billy Hoffman, and we're gonna be in Fenton at Beale Street Barbecue. I'm gonna be headlining there. That's gonna be super fun.
All right.
The comedy series, who you all know and love, and thank you for supporting my little comedy company. The comedy series is going to be at the Burton Eagles doing Drag Me to Bingo. Hilarious, fun time. I personally pick out every prize for every bingo. You don't know if you're getting something adult or a Bible. You just don't know. They're mystery bags, and they're hilarious. Hilarious.
Do the Bibles instantly go up in flames when you're
Sometimes. Or sometimes it's a Bible that you open and you can put a little flask in there. It's just really fun. It's very fun.
Apparently that's what they meant when they
Yeah,
started
that's-
the Dead
that's
Sea
what-
Scrolls. When they found the Dead Sea Scrolls they were wrapped around bottles of wine. Nobody knows that.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. So yeah, and then we also have Mayfield Tavern in Lapeer. We got a hot comedy show that's going to be happening out that way too. Tommy Thompson's dad, Wolf, is going to be emceeing that show, and that will be a very good time. So there's a lot happening this weekend. There's tons to do on Saturday, and I highly recommend you run to thecomedyseries.net and grab some tickets.
And Melissa will, if you happen to be walking behind her as she exits the stage door, leave you with a
I
little
should
gift.
not have talked about that. Oh my
A
gosh.
gaseous gift that you might very well get. And you'll know it because you'll hear it.
You just need
As
to
Ron Blake moves from his position behind Melissa.
Ron's like, I ain't standing behind her anymore.
Yeah,
Billy stands behind me, right?
Right.
As the only person who has not farted in the studio yet.
So for those of you just tuning in, Melissa told a story earlier this morning. It's very similar to the one that you've heard the joke about where you get into the car and nobody knows that there's a couple in the back seat and she let one rip, but it would happen to be a comedian walking out the backstage door behind her, and she thought she was all alone, but she let one, well, it
And
basically,
it was a loud, like, man-sounding
like
fart.
sonic boom kind of a thing. Yeah. So it was very, very noticeable apparently. Yeah.
Well, and I live in a whole house full of boys.
So you
like, I get numb to the fact of, like, how noisy they are until you realize another strange person heard it, you know? Because I'm like, that still wasn't nothing compared to what I hear at my house. But
I'm sure of that.
in front of your pastor? Yeah, kind of a big deal.
It's 7:50 here now, 10 minutes in front of the top of the hour on the Foxhole Morning Show. Johnny and Steph in the house about an hour from now. Before that, we're going to get to a Foxhole People poll this morning. It'll have something to do with farting, I guess. I don't know. Where did you get caught farting? No, I'm not sure that's what we're going to do. I'm not even sure what we're going to do here this morning. But we did, yesterday had a great day working with the Franklin JCs, judging their chili cook-off. I don't know how much money they made, but they did look like we had a good crowd
I
there
think we
yesterday.
had a good crowd, yeah.
Yeah, so thank you to everybody that came out to Tiffany's and Frankenmuth for that yesterday, and thank you to the JCs for inviting us.
And
yet
whoever's
again.
entering next year for the love of Christmas, please just make a regular chili.
Yeah, by the way, yes, we're gonna.
You want to talk about listening to grumpy old men complain about...
It was terrible. We have found over the years, we've been doing this 30 years now, this chili cook-off, that every other year you get nothing but crap, and this was the off year to get nothing but crap. There wasn't a thing that tasted like chili in the 15
the top couple were
I'm sure the people that had entered in that are happier in hell to hear that.
scared me to death. I was not, when I smelled it, because we're supposed to smell them too, which
Right.
is weird to me. When I smelled it, I was nervous, and then when I ate it and I couldn't figure out the meat source, I was like, there's a friggin' raccoon or possum in here. I know that there is. Someone is messing with us, and they all have stomachs like goats. They don't give a crap. And I'm coming off of a very embarrassing flatulent situation, and I'm like, I'm not. Yeah, I'm just not putting this in my mouth. I don't want to do it.
It was very interesting. We did have like 2 or 3 really good ones. Everything else tasted just like something else, and nothing chili-like at all. And the first one we had was a white chili that actually tasted pretty
It
good.
was actually my favorite, but they called it soup. They said
But it was soup. It tasted like soup. It didn't taste like chili. Yeah. And it was soupy. It didn't have a chili consistency even to it. So it was weird. But that happens every other year, it seems like. So next year, they'll learn their lesson. They'll come in with all kinds of great chili. I think what we ought to do is enter a Hormel chili and see what happens.
I just see
No, some of that Wendy's chili. The Wendy's chili, yes.
Yeah, that's a good one, too. Yeah. We may have to try that. All right, 7:53.
Listen to 103.9 The Fox.
Yes, I'm sure the people who were entered in that contest that they were judging yesterday are just thrilled to death to hear about that little observation that there was all crap yesterday that was in the competition that they were judging. I don't know. It's hard for me to think that you can do that effectively if you're trying to judge one after another after another. How are you supposed to be able to? I don't know how the palate works that way. If you're on the first little sip of chili or mouthful or whatever you use as your gauge for how much you're going to use, when you get to the 15th one, I would think that that's been somehow skewed, the taste of the 15th chili being judged. But Wendy's chili is good, says Tina. I've seen that being very popular, the Wendy's chili. A lot of people I see with that a lot of times. I've not tried that, but does it have beans in it? The Wendy's chili? I don't know. I've not had it, but just, again, we have this little debate going on whether or not chili has to have beans in it or not have beans in it in order to be considered real chili. How many times have you sat in on that debate? Get to the news here in a couple of minutes. The other thing, the answer to Sheila says yes, they do have beans in the chili at Wendy's. And Tina also says yes. Then it's not real chili, I suppose. It's just like if it's pineapple on top of the pizza, it's not real pizza, right? I mean, according to the rules of food, which I still don't understand, but okay. Now, in New Mexico, Chris says the Wendy's chili has green peppers in it. Green peppers. You guys do a lot of peppers in New Mexico, don't you? I know I've told you I've got relatives in New Mexico, and I've seen they even have for their Christmas lights, they have a string of them that are actually little, like chilies, I guess they are, the colored ones that you can put on a tree, and it's kind of like themed that way. I've seen that, which are kind of cool and definitely different. Red and green chili peppers. Tina wants to refute this idea that you can't put beans in chili because she says she's been making chili for years, always with beans. So it is, damn it, chili. It isn't just... Well, I don't know. Sheldon Cooper told me it's not. And whatever Sheldon Cooper says, I believe. And Johnny actually also said the same thing. He says it's always accepted to have beans in the chili when they do these cook-offs, but technically, he said, it's not chili in the truest sense of the word. I don't know. Sauce, meat, onions, and peppers goes on pasta. Sauce, meat, onions, and peppers goes on pasta. Not mushrooms or anchovies or some of the other things that are put on it.
Scientists confirming on Wednesday that a pair of wildcat cubs spotted on March 6th by a couple of Uber motorists, and of course they could have been drunk for all we know. But they did see the real thing in Ontonagon County.
Ontonagon.
I know. I do that every time. Anyway, they were
I don't think so.
cougars approximately 7 to 9 weeks old. Officials said this is the first time cougar cubs have been verified in the state since the big cats were hunted out of existence in Michigan in the early 1900s. But
My mom, who lived in Ontonagon County,
right.
She swore for years that she had seen cougars out on the trail.
There have been, and these are cougar cubs now,
Yeah.
but they have now, the DNR has recognized that we do have cougars in the state. And there are several of them now that they were, for the longest time they've been saying, and I still have not confirmed whether the DNR is on this or not, but the MDOT workers claim to have seen a cougar several times by the bridge, by the Zilwaukee Bridge there, down on the ground near the woods there.
Really?
Yes, several times they claim to have seen them there. I don't know whether or not the DNR has recognized that or finally figured it out or not and officially recognized it, but there have been several sightings in our area, in other words, of a cougar. And I'm not talking about you guys when you're out in Providence.
That took longer than I thought it would,
I
actually.
actually think we deserve to give a big shout out for our Michigan women who know that they're nearly extinct. They really have stepped up and represented. I think that's amazing. I think they're confused, but also I think that is awesome.
As you can tell, Melissa Higger is in the studio with us. Are you Irish, by the way?
Yeah, so my dad's side of the family is like German Lutheran, and my mom's side is Irish Catholic. And I'm actually trying to write a bit about that right now because I feel like all that mixed together to make me is probably funny. I just got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I'm just still so bitter about it. I can't.
Yeah, that should be pretty funny. Actually, I think there used to be an ad campaign years ago, and I can't remember who had it, about an Irish and Polish marriage.
Yeah.
And they used that as showing the differences. And I don't remember what it was for.
That's actually my mom's parents. So my grandma has a little bit of Polish in her. So
Right.
mostly Irish, but there's a little bit of that too. And I should do the 23andMe because I'm probably African American or something. Who knows?
We talked about that earlier this morning.
They just say that stuff, and it's probably not even real.
Yeah.
Who knows?
All right, let's head on over to
Y'all ready for news, huh? Okay.
We'll get back with some more of Melissa.
Let's do it.
And her kids are in the house. They're Presley, Jam, Smoothie. Say hi, Wesley. Just say hi. Thank you, Wesley. All right, here now with the real news. Hal Maas.
5 things you should know from 103.9 The Fox, brought to you by Fick Landscape Supplies. As we spring into the new season, it's time to get that driveway in shape with tons of driveway material, plus the finest topsoil, compost, and humus. Fick Landscape Supplies, with 2 locations to serve you. Find out more at ficklandscapesupplies.com. Like us on Facebook. Now let's get Fick and busy. Well, the celebration of St. Patrick's Day in Shiawassee County was tarnished in downtown Vernon over the weekend as fire destroyed the popular Sherman's Irish Pub yesterday morning. There were no reports of any injuries. The cause of that fire remains under investigation. President Trump says he plans to speak with Russian President Putin tomorrow as part of the push to reach a 30-day ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine has agreed to Trump's ceasefire proposal, but Putin refused to accept it unconditionally. There will not be dozens of people washing cars in a Walmart parking lot this spring as punishment for shoplifting. Genesee County District Court Chief Judge William Crawford reportedly says that the plan is being canceled over safety and liability concerns. Last month, District Court Judge Jeffrey Clothier had sentenced 48 people convicted of shoplifting from the Walmart store on Saginaw Road in Grand Blanc Township to wash cars for free in the store's parking lot. March Madness field set. Michigan beating Wisconsin yesterday 59-53 to win the Big Ten tournament title. Wolverines are a number 5 seed in the South region. They'll play UC San Diego 10 p.m. Thursday in Denver. Michigan State, who won the regular season Big Ten crown, is a number 2 seed in the South region. The Spartans will take on Bryant on Friday in a first-round matchup in Cleveland. That also to be a 10 p.m. tip. Both the Spartans and the Wolverines have to play late-night games. Pistons are in New Orleans tonight to face the Pelicans. Red Wings blank the Vegas Golden Knights 3-0. Tigers lost to the Orioles down in Florida in the Grapefruit League 7-1. And Josh Berry, for the first time ever, won a NASCAR race. He took the race yesterday in Las Vegas. And to cap this one off, gas prices in Michigan held steady over the past week. AAA Michigan reporting the average price of regular unleaded remains at $3.04 a gallon statewide, with Flint prices among the cheapest lately, averaging around $3.01. And that's 5 things you should know from 103.9 The Fox. Plenty of sunshine coming up today with temperatures topping off around 46 with light winds out of the north-northwest. Skies expected to be partly cloudy with overnight lows around 37, and then it's more clouds for us tomorrow than we get today, but along with warmer temperatures that should reach around 61 tomorrow. That cloud cover remains into Wednesday and perhaps some rain coming in the afternoon, along with temps warming to about 66. Right now it's 27 in Flint and in Saginaw 25.
That's some more coming up with Melissa Hager. We've got a Foxhole People poll and more all this hour on 103.9 Fox.
Okay, it's St. Patrick's Day. That's a double dose of Smile Source for you guys. We're going to give you Bella and Billy. They are members of the Shenanigans Squad. They are Beagles who are festively celebrating in St. Joseph, Missouri. Bella and Billy are your smile sources today. We're throwing two of them at you to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Right there. You know, if they were smart, somebody would have come up with two dogs that were named Corned Beef and Cabbage. That would have worked, wouldn't it? All right. Guys, thank you very much for your attendance, your attention, hanging out on Monday to get our work week started, and we will come back tomorrow. Since tomorrow begins with a T, we're going to be on Instagram. That's the rotation. YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch today, mostly a YouTube crowd. Welcome and thank you for all of you who are here, no matter what platform you chose. Tomorrow it's Instagram. Wednesday we'll be back here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Definitely make sure that you like and subscribe to us if you haven't yet done that. Have yourself a pleasant, peaceful, productive, and I guess safe St. Patrick's Day. Don't overdo the celebration. You can have a good time with it, but you know how to be a little sensible about that. You all know how to do that, right? So that we can come back tomorrow morning and hang out with your friends, the Hal Raisers, once again. We're going to be doing that right here when we're on Instagram. All right? All right.